Extreme goriest horror films that break all limits. Think you can handle horror? Think again. These films don't just flirt with fear, they plunge headfirst into pure, unrelenting terror. These films will haunt your dreams and make your skin crawl. Don't miss out. Like, subscribe, and share your thoughts. Join Silent Hour now, if you dare. Hostel 2005. Surely you've seen the Korean series Squid Game, where some wealthy individuals enjoy watching people at their wits' end go through gruesome trials. The creators' simplistic approach turned its harrowing scenes into unintended comedies that evoked no emotion. The film Hostel shares similarities with this series, except the filmmaker is keenly aware of the depicted crime's audacity and presents violence unabashedly without offering any solace to the audience. Films that delve into torturing victims and detailing such acts fall within various narrative spectrums of slasher cinema. Among the most famous examples are the Saw series.
Since the beginning, you have watched others suffer. Now it is your turn to play.
Yet none quite match the raw brutality and portrayal of human depravity seen in Hostel. In such films, individuals or groups take advantage of peculiar and unfamiliar environments to unleash their unresolved traumas upon unsuspecting victims who were recently leading ordinary lives.
No, please, no, fucking don't.
This premise highlights the thin line between normal life and being trapped in a terrifying situation, making the audience realize the horrific consequences of simple decisions. On the other hand, the perpetrators may outwardly appear reasonable individuals enjoying a normal social life, seemingly untouched by any particular problems. Ironically, the film portrays the affluent class's exploitation of the less fortunate as a form of severe injustice. In such scenarios, the viewer feels more insecure, and truthfully, Hostel stands out from the Saw series. Hostel's victims are innocent people suffering the consequences of today's injustices, not monstrous characters like Saw's enigmatic villain.
Fucking whore. Fucking bitch. Fucking bitch!
Quentin Tarantino is an avid fan of the late filmmaker Eli Roth and, after Roth's previous film, requested to collaborate on a future project with him. Roth, at the time working on an idea centered around paying poor families and then killing or torturing them, welcomed Tarantino's request and produced Hostel, with Tarantino joining as a producer. Hostel, with a budget close to $5 million, managed to gross over $80 million worldwide. Set against the backdrop of American and European students traveling through Europe, Hostel ensnares viewers in a nightmarish scenario at a hostel in Slovakia. Unbeknownst to them, their stay turns into a harrowing ordeal that forces them to confront the brutal consequences of seemingly innocent decisions. And hey, stick around. Like, subscribe, and tell us which one freaked you out the most.
As we get older, there's one question we all face. Are we sexually healthy? It's easy to forget, but once we hit 40, things change. So, why wait? Take this free quiz and get your sexual health report in just 2 minutes. It's quick, it's free, and it could be the most important 2 minutes you spend today. Link in the description.
Number 2. Audition 1999. Japanese horror cinema has long had many fans, but most of these horror films focused on folklore stories with supernatural roots, narrating tales of ghosts and spirits. For instance, a masterpiece like Kwaidan by Masaki Kobayashi is a deeply terrifying film without showcasing violence explicitly. In this regard, Audition deserves its place in this list, as it initially introduces a moral dilemma. A man incapable of emotional or even verbal communication with women, having lost his wife years ago, is pressured by his friends to remarry. However, his path to finding a suitable wife takes a horrifying and highly unethical turn. Thus, we are faced with a film that not only displays gruesome scenes, but also evokes revulsion beneath the surface. The notion of making a film like Audition today, amidst the expansion of equality and justice movements, may seem challenging. Yet what makes the film so terrifying is the horrific metaphor it creates out of marital life. Essentially, the film tells the familiar tale of courtship and marriage of all people on this earthly sphere. Only through Meek's lens, everyone plays a role before choosing and being chosen to start a life together. However, in this director's cinema, everything is poured into a terrifying mold and has a sickening effect. The film Audition is based on the book of the same name by Ryu Murakami, a man who has lost his wife for years. He is unable to communicate with women and, pressured by his friends to remarry, cannot choose anyone. One of his friends, a film producer, arranges a deceptive audition to select the future wife for the man, where various women participate. Number 3. Raw 2016. When the film Raw premiered at the Cannes Film Festival, many left the cinema hall and reports even surfaced of people being hospitalized. It's known that Cannes audiences are more accustomed to sophisticated films rather than watching a horror film like Raw. The director, Ms. Ducournau, shows no restraint in depicting violence, especially of a cannibalistic nature. In Raw, an internal issue takes on a palpable form and becomes something terrifying. A girl's transformation into a dangerous creature is depicted, and the filmmaker stands beside her to voice a new perspective. The director moves from innocence towards violence, juxtaposing the chaotic adult world against the innocence of childhood, where the main character's personal transformations in breaking free from their safe space take on a harsh and tangible form. Cannibalism has long been a favorite theme among horror filmmakers. In many films, especially in the subgenre of slasher or physical horror cinema, we witness such themes prominently, dealing with psychologically disturbed killers who engage in grotesque acts of violence. In this context, Julia Ducournau turns her camera not towards the victims, but towards those who commit slaughter, portraying them not as victims of society's rejection, but as creators of victims. Thus, instead of being horrified by their actions, the audience sometimes finds themselves sympathizing with them. This is Julia Ducournau's debut film, and many elements seen in her subsequent film Titane, which won the Cannes Film Festival's Best Picture Award, can be traced back to it. From the evolving meaning of family in today's world to the heightened levels of violence challenging the tolerance of many viewers. The main character's personal changes and internal struggles, unable to resist new desires, become a symbol of rebellion against a system and a society that demands conformity without question. Essentially, this main character rebels against a system and society that expect nothing but obedience and acceptance. What Ducournau does in Raw differs significantly from what horror filmmakers in America typically do. And it's not just about pointing the camera towards cannibals. She creates allegorical scenes of horror to symbolize the loss of things essential for a normal life, analogous to the loss of security and vulnerability to societal pressures. Years ago, horror filmmakers focused on tales centered around zombies, allegorizing life in a society where no one trusted each other. But here, this isn't about flesh-eating monsters. The main character isn't trapped among cannibals, but is the one performing these acts. She experiences events that are far from ordinary, and the filmmaker has no interest in realism. It's as if this act is the only thing left for the protagonist in this inverted world, with no way out. Raw stands as one of the best works in physical horror over the past decade, which is quite natural. Movie story: a girl named Ella is studying veterinary medicine. As a vegetarian, she is tempted by her sister to try raw rabbit meat. This experience leads her to enjoy consuming raw meat, but
Michael Myers, the face of fear, the legend of Halloween. And Michael's promise? It's not just another flimsy hoodie that fades after a few washes. Every stitch is made to last, just like Michael's promise. The fear, the thrill, the legend. When you wear it, you're not just staying warm. You're carrying the legend, all in one, cozy, durable, eco-friendly. Today only, 10% off. Michael Myers' promise is waiting for you. Link in description.
Number 4. The Devil's Reject 2005.
What police have uncovered reads like this. Words can't describe it.
Don't start the killing. You best start it right here.
Here, Rob Zombie crafts a peculiar film. The killers are savage beings who murder and plunder without remorse. Yet, as the film suggests, even Satan has abandoned them. What does this say about society?
So you think we're gonna die here today?
Dying's not an option.
Thus, Rob Zombie portrays his killers as outcasts, evoking sympathy for them. Perhaps this is excessive, but it earns the film a deserving place on such a list. Restless cameras, disheveled figures, remote and sordid locations, wallowing in their own blood and tormenting others, all characterize the imagery of Rob Zombie's best film. Intentionally, he sacrifices clarity for brutal yet futile film aesthetics to explore the relationship between deranged individuals and their ultimate demise.
This is Sheriff John Quincy Wydell, Roanoke County Sheriff's Department. You're completely surrounded. You have no chance of escape.
There's a million fucking cops! Come on.
In his cinematic world, nothing is impossible. He effortlessly dispatches characters in his films and doesn't even restrict himself in depicting frenzied violence. Rob Zombie has been making horror films for years, catering exclusively to horror genre aficionados. So, if you're not among these viewers, steer clear. But if you revel in the spectacle of unhinged and insane individuals who know no boundaries in their crimes, be sure to watch The Devil's Rejects. The Devil's Rejects is a sequel to House of 1000 Corpses. The deranged family from the first film, named after characters from the Marx Brothers films, is besieged by police after murdering 74 people. They manage to escape, beginning their road trip while pursued by a police officer driven more by vengeance for his slain brother than justice. Note that it's not necessary to have seen House of 1000 Corpses to enjoy this film. It stands alone in crafting its own narrative universe. The film's main strength lies in constantly shifting the roles of protagonist and antagonist. Initially aligned with the police officer, the audience is left with no sympathy for sadistic crimes against anti-heroes. However, As the officer resorts to any means necessary to justify killing these malevolent creatures, the law fails to deliver justice. Slowly, the police officer becomes more savage than the criminals, leading the audience's sentiments towards the embittered anti-heroes, culminating in a climax where the filmmaker reveres their deaths akin to a sacred rite, echoing Bonnie and Clyde. Now it's your turn. Drop your takeaways, thoughts, or any details Silent Hour might have missed in the comments below. The comment with the most likes will earn the title of the fearless soul of this episode from our icebreaker community, Silent Hour. And don't forget to follow us on our other platforms. We're on Rumble, where we upload our videos when YouTube flags them, giving you access to more disturbing content. Check us out on Instagram for exclusive trailers before they hit YouTube. And a special thanks to Silent Hour Guardian, Diddy Creefield, for becoming part of Silent Hour family.